We are no golfers, we are no polo players, no boat people. We came, like I think many people, because of the school. When I was in Johannesburg, being alone with the kids, or in Stuttgart, being alone with the kids, it was always a little bit like, something isn't right. Do we invite her? Here it's not a question. So I have my social life many years in many countries, and you and your family were sent to different locations. Here, people choose to come. Yeah. So I think most of the people who come here already come with an open mind, and it should make it easier to adapt.
Welcome everybody to Charlie in Sotogrande podcast. Today with me I have a very interesting person. It's Heike. She's a mom with 3 kids at the school, and they're going to tell us a story about the family coming to Sotogrande and all the trials and tribulations about settling in. I hope there are not many tribulations, but I'm sure we'll hear. Heike, you're very, very welcome.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
You're excited to be here?
Yes.
I'm delighted that you're excited.
You know why I'm excited? Also, because, well, first of all, talking about Sotogrande, I love Sotogrande, we live here for 8 years now, but also that someone is interested in my opinion. I have 3 teenagers, and those days are gone that normally they want to know anything, what I think about and so on. So
I know, children grow up so fast and they off they go, isn't it? Okay, well, tell us a little bit about yourself, about the family and how you decided to come to Sotogrande. How do you find Sotogrande?
How did we find Sotogrande? Well, we had no idea about Sotogrande. We are no golfers, we are no polo players, no boat people. We came, like I think many people, because of the school.
Right.
8 years ago. Kids and I, we lived in Germany, my husband still in Africa, and we decided to look for a place to live together. Yeah. I didn't want to go back to Africa. 4 years before, I had to move to Germany because my mom was dying and I didn't want her to die alone. So the kids and I moved to Germany from Africa, and we looked for international schools, World IB schools, because I really wanted this kind of school, a full IB school with MYP, PYP and DP. And so we came to Sotogrande and we loved it.
What were the options? Were there other schools you looked at? Because, I mean, you're sitting in Germany looking for the schools.
Yes, we looked at so many schools in Holland, Belgium, Switzerland, in Spain as well, but there were not many schools overall where 3 kids could go to school in one campus, and also not many World IB schools, like with these 3 steps, the program Rachel explained so nicely. So, and when we came here, it ticked so many boxes. Yeah.
So it wasn't the weather necessarily,
no.
It was 100%
100% school.
Yeah. So you represent a lot of people, because I think a lot of people are coming to Sotogrande because of the school, or come to, and then fall in love with Sotogrande.
Exactly, that was exactly like we did. Yeah.
Incredible. What were the first initial biggest challenges that you had? I mean, I know finding a home probably, but just what were the challenges was it general? Moving your stuff here? Was it I've moved many times, and I've had a 40-foot container following me around the world. And one of the reasons I think I understand, I'm very sympathetic to anybody that's coming, is that I've done it.
Yeah.
I've been fortunate to be able to have a secretary who's organized a lot of the stuff that I didn't even see. But the house is packed and off it goes, and you don't see it for 2 months because it's on a ship going across the world or whatever. Yeah. What were your challenges, would you say?
We didn't move with lots of furniture because we moved into a furnished house here.
Right.
My biggest challenge was after deciding, yes, we want to stay here in Sotogrande, because we rented first, was actually finding a home. And then, as you know, took long.
I know about.
No, but the initial, honestly, it sounds crazy, but from day 1, all 3 kids were happy at school. All 3 kids were happy. We found on day 3 football club outside the Soto bubble in Taragia. The boys went there. That was challenging because they were the only ones from Sotogrande, the only ones not speaking Spanish. But that was it.
Yeah.
So we all of us loved it from day one and felt so welcome, and we liked the school.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Can't-
it was
Can't give you
a shoe-in.
no.
But what about yourself? I mean, sometimes, the kids go to school,
Yeah.
Your husband's working,
Yeah.
and you're at home twiddling your thumbs? No.
That's a very good
I know
question.
you've done a lot of things.
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe that's the challenge, is to find something for yourself to do.
No.
No?
Sorry. Yes, sorry.
Well-
No, I had my dog, so I was walking the dog. By walking the dog, I found my horse, as you know. It
Your
was
horse, yeah.
close by. Living, I volunteered at school.
Okay.
I found easily my tribe at school with other mothers. And what I would give as an advice, do this. Go to school, join these groups the school offers, because most of the time you have no tribe, and go and find your tribe. But for me, it was easy. I speak the language.
Yeah.
I spoke already Spanish. That would be another advice. Go and learn the language.
Yeah.
I spoke it. I felt at home. I spoke with my cleaning lady to get the rustiness of my Spanish, and had my conversation.
Before
coffees.
you went out and spoke
Yes,
to the
yes,
residents.
yes, exactly. It was amazing. I felt natural.
Yeah.
She had her cafelito. I had my cafelito. Her little break, and we spoke about everything.
Cool.
So no, we had it easy. Sotogrande made it very easy for us.
That's so good to hear, because sometimes I come across people who have come to Sotogrande and all they can find are problems.
Yeah.
And it's, I think you have to want to be here.
Yeah.
To see
Yeah.
obstacles as not real obstacles, they're just things you've got to get on with.
Yeah.
Whereas others who don't want to be here for whatever reason, find everything is Mount Everest.
It's
and you have
true.
to jump over and get around, and everything's a problem. And in Spain is like this, it's so good, and back home is different.
That is exactly. But don't you think that coming to Sotogrande is your choice? So of course there have been problems, families who found these problems you just described, and then they left again. So you've been an expat many years in many countries, and you and your family were sent to different locations. Here, people choose to come.
Yeah.
So I think most of the people who come here already come with an open mind, and it should make it easier to adapt. And as you said, the cultural differences are there. I'm German, and some of the Germans think
A blinkered. Yeah.
and of course it's not like this, but if you're open-minded,
No, and I always say to people say, oh, it's like this in Spain or like that, and I say it's like that. If a Spanish went to your country, they would find the same problems. It's different.
It is.
It's language is different, culture is different. I mean, we have. Why does every worker stop at 10 o'clock to have a bocadillo? Because they didn't have breakfast. They started at 8 in the morning, and then they had their little breakfast.
Exactly.
And then at 2 o'clock they have their lunch. When you had your lunch at 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock. So it's cultural, and things are done differently. It's not that they work better or worse.
no,
it's just
absolutely.
and
Keep
that's
an
what-
open mind, and
Particularly people that come for the first time abroad.
Yeah,
They don't.
I
get
think
it. They
yes.
expect everything to be like back home, and it's not. Just as well, because otherwise we'd be boring. We'd all be the same.
Exactly.
So it's
You're right. Maybe because we have moved so much. We have lived in Africa for a long time. I didn't even think about these things at possible problems, because the cultural difference between Germany and Kenya or South Africa is much bigger than, and I was already used to it, and the kids as well.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
No, the kids adapt very quickly.
Yeah.
They mold themselves into.
And I also think that when you said, are there challenges? I think what you just described is true. If the kids are not happy at school for whatever reason, then it's then the parents probably find more problems.
I've known people who have moved out of the school and put the children somewhere else because the school is so competitive. And they felt that they didn't want that type of education for their child, and have moved away. So I think that's their personal choice. And if they feel that that's way, and I think this particular one said, no, my 5-year-old doesn't have to have homework. I don't think we have homework, but they
Yeah.
had something to do for the next day, and they wanted to play, and they said that's not right. Anyway, it's a different
Be
issue.
it,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay, so you came here with the school, you're happy
Yes.
with the school, we've had Rachel Dent on, and she tells us all about the school, and everything's wonderful. So let's move on to other things. What about the doctor and the dentist and all that stuff? Was that easy to do?
Well, the doctor we found by chance the day we arrived. My daughter, then 7 years old, wanted to cut an apple for us, and she cut right onto her bone.
Oh!
And we went, "Ah, what do you do?" And it was luckily just before Human Line closed. So family all in the car and went to Human Line. So we found Human Line. I think we Googled it.
Yeah.
But otherwise, we found it. We found by word of mouth.
Yeah. So word of mouth is something.
Yes.
Because, again, I've gone to live in different places, and meeting other parents is so nice because you're mostly all from another country.
Yes.
And therefore, as you described, your tribe, the tribe protects each other, and they help each other
out,
in
and
that. And I'm sure people that come to Sotogrande, not necessarily for the school, but because of polo, that's their tribe. And they will have the same assistance and help.
Yeah.
Or the sailors, or the golfers. The golf's maybe less so, but they don't sort of get together as much. But
and I think with the school, I don't know about the polo or the golfers. There are these WhatsApp groups now, and they are so helpful.
Yeah, yeah.
Join the WhatsApp group, and you can ask everything. Doctor, dentist, handyman, whatever. Yeah.
I know. And there's a Sotogrande community one as well.
Yes, exactly.
And it's the things.
It is so helpful.
A picture of a dog. A dog is loose.
Yeah, exactly.
So the dog is going to be picked up. And that's so lovely because of the community look after each other, and it makes it very easy and comfortable, and you feel at home. It's
absolutely
wonderful from that point of view.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What about something that people tell me also as an estate agent? Oh, where's this downtown? Where's the center?
Yeah.
I keep telling them, this is not a town. This is a urbanization. Where do you go shopping? Where do you go for your fancy clothes? Or where do you go for... What is missing in Sotogrande that you can't get within 30 minutes each way?
Okay, you're asking the wrong person because I'm not a big shopper. When we go clothes shopping, we go to Banús.
Yeah.
We have everything there. Or La Cañada, we have everything there. The grocery shopping, we have everything here.
Yeah.
If you want to do if you want to have a happening, an experience, you go to the market in Algeciras. Beautiful. You find everything there. Otherwise, I don't have to tell all the supermercados. It's here. And what I personally do is, because my son is playing competitive football, I use in Estepona, I used the 4 times 2 hours or 3 hours training and go to Carrefour there or the...
Right.
Yeah. So you have everything here. And no, there is no big city. And funny enough, on Friday I was invited for a dinner, and the lady one of the guests asked me, she's from Paris, "Are you never bored in Sotogrande?" And I'm like, no, I'm not bored. If you have a dinner with friends in Paris or you have a dinner with friends in Sotogrande, it doesn't really
make any difference.
I
have that all the time with people saying, but there's nothing to do in Sotogrande. I say, okay, what is it you'd want to do? There are no restaurants. Okay. There are restaurants. What are you missing? What is it? And they don't know what to say, because, yes, you want a Michelin-star restaurant?
Yeah.
Okay. Marbella?
Yeah.
Okay. And how often do you go to a Michelin-star restaurant? Oh, once a month. Okay, get in your car and go back.
Or you go to Sevilla, or you go absolutely Malaga.
Yeah, or go to Paris.
Yes,
You're not here because of that.
No.
But I find it hard to say things are missing here. It's.
I agree.
I can go to Gibraltar in 20 minutes and get English. Branston pickle or things like that if you want, you can do that. You can go to in Marbella. There's a German, Swedish, anything.
Yes,
anything. All the different.
Or if you want to go like cultural, there's no culture here. Well, if you go to Gibraltar, for example, you have stand-up comedians there. You have theater in English there. If you want to go and the concerts, you go to Malaga.
No.
I'm absolutely with you
I think
there.
those people have the same problem in London or in Paris
yes.
or in New York. You
Yes,
know, it's one
go
of those
there
things.
if you want. You jump on a train and go there.
Okay, just another boring stuff. Local admin. When you came here,
Yeah.
there's paperwork.
Yes.
There's a residency.
Yes.
There's the NIE.
Very important.
There's
Yeah.
all that stuff. How
Yeah.
did you find that journey? Did you get some help from a lawyer?
Yes,
or
we had
how-
help from a lawyer
Yeah.
who did our empadronamiento,
Yeah.
then the NIE, very important, then the bank account.
Yeah.
We got immediately a local SIM card, which is also important,
Yeah.
also for the kids.
Yeah.
We had the help with them, and I would suggest doing this.
Health card. You know,
Health card.
The health.
Health, we have a private insurance, but what I would absolutely recommend is helicópteros.
Yes.
I don't understand anyone who is not using this service. Honestly, it's for little money, you have peace of mind, and it's so unique for Sotogrande. So
I sadly yesterday only I was at a place. It was a German holiday yesterday, so the German community were meeting and having a party, and I was invited. And sadly, somebody had fainted, and Helicópteros Sanitarios was there in 15 minutes. You know, and they looked after the person. They put a little ECG on him. They thought, maybe we need to go and have to hospital. Where would you like to go? They ask you, so do you want to go to your private one? Do you want to go to La Línea? You want to go wherever? But they were there, and it is so much peace of mind. I think a lot of people you don't get that service in London. You wouldn't. You know?
No, neither in Germany. Yeah. No, it is absolute peace of mind.
And it's not the end of the world expensive.
No, we are paying. We have family of 5, 3 kids, 2 parents. 500 euros a year, and you call them 24/7. No, I could rave about them. They came to us, and they come. Unlike some ambulances in Spain, they come always with an emergency doctor, always with a nurse, and then the driver.
Yeah, I know.
It's a no-brainer for me.
I had, have I told this story? I'm not sure, but I was playing golf the other day and I hurt my knee. And I knew what it was because I've had rugby injuries, and it was on a Thursday. There was a couple of holidays. There was a puente, and I knew I'd torn my meniscus. But anyway, I said, tomorrow I'm going to Helicópteros Sanitarios in Banús, and they did an MRI for me. And I knew what I had, and confirmed what I thought I had in 2 hours of being there. Where if I was in London, I would have to wait an appointment for 2 weeks before I got an MRI. You know, it's astonishing how good the service is. So you have to pay for it, but you know, it's peace of mind.
Peace of mind. Yeah.
So you got your health cards, you got your residency, you got all these things, and you're here. What about car? Did you have to buy a car? Or did you bring one in?
We brought one in.
Yeah.
And I had heard these stories. Oh, it's so expensive to change the number plate from a German one to the Spanish one. It wasn't. Well, it depends on the car. It was not a luxury car. It was like this minivan type.
Yeah. Okay.
We did this, but we also bought one here. So no problems there. No. Sorry. Are we looking for problems?
No. Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it?
It is difficult.
Yeah. Okay, so you're settled.
We're settled.
You got your car, and you got your dog, and you're walking, and the children are happily at school, and everything is cool. What about social integration for you as and again, I know through school you will find friends.
Yeah.
But have you found a hobby outside of school?
Yes. Well, I have my horse. So my horse is in Guadacorte.
So you ride?
I ride every day.
Do you compete? Do you jump?
No, I'm a leisure rider.
You ride out.
I ride out. I hack out.
You hack out. Okay.
And that's what I do. And through the Hippica, I have friends. Through the school, I have friends, and we have. I think this is it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
School and Hippica.
Just a small interruption there. A little tip from me regarding rental properties here in Sotogrande. The rules have changed. You will have to have had a touristic code to rent short term, anything less than 2 months. But now the government has introduced something else. You have to actually register at the Registro de la Propiedad. So it's another number you have to get. And please do so, because you will be breaking the rules if indeed you do not have one and are renting short term. So ensure you have that before the 2nd of July is when it comes into effect. Okay, so get your paperwork in order. What about other clubs? Would you recommend to families? I mean,
Yeah.
You're not a paddle player, are
Exactly.
you? Yeah.
No, well, my daughter, the boys were football.
Football.
So it was a little bit difficult. With football, it is difficult because, yes, you find clubs outside the school. However, to be allowed to play in the league with these clubs, you need the feature.
What's that?
The feature is the authorization from the UEFA that your child is not playing in Spain because, or no, that the child didn't move to Spain because of playing football. The child moved to Spain because the parents moved to Spain. Real Madrid and Barcelona 10 years ago, or 9 years ago, they caused this feature law. That means that they brought in many players from from Africa or South America, and these young kids brought their families, and there was a lot of pressure on them. So now one has to prove that the child under 18 is not here because of football, but he is here because the parent decided. The parents have enough means to support,
Right.
and it is a tricky one. We had a lawyer to help us when it took each time the children changed clubs. But no, Yannick changed club from Spain to Gibraltar, so it was the same. Then again, half a year
To
lawyers.
coming back into Spain.
Yeah, no, and to play in Gibraltar, it's
Same thing as a UEFA
yeah,
thing.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
So that was a little bit tricky, but we
Yeah.
had a lawyer to help us with. Football, my daughter, she was riding, Sotogrande you can ride, playing tennis, then dancing, then gymnastics, swimming. There is so much to do. And I would recommend that you do try to get your children also out of school to do some activities because of the Spanish.
To learn Spanish.
To
Is that an issue? Because the children don't speak in...
Yeah.
So the common language must be English.
English.
Because the education is in English.
And everyone speaks English to each other. Even I can say now, the German kids speak English to each other. Even the Spanish ones speak English to each other. So it's difficult to really learn the language while you are in an English-speaking environment.
Wow. That's so different, because I went in Chile. I was at school.
Yeah.
It was the British school.
Yeah.
And we all spoke Spanish in the playroom, and in the class we educated in English. It's the other way around.
So that is a little bit difficult for kids to...
Maybe, I suppose, because, I mean, again, Rachel Dent said that there were more than 60 nationalities at the school. So you got many different languages, which...
And the one common ground is English.
The one common is English, so that's the one that they would precipitate to.
But, for example, the head of Spanish department from the school, she only speaks Spanish. Only. So the kids don't even know that she speaks brilliant Oxford English, but she is very, very hard on them. So it's not that the school doesn't want them to speak. It's just difficult to learn if you're not coming out of school, out of Sotogrande.
But they understand some Spanish, sure.
Yeah,
of course.
But I must say, when I've looked at some kids and met some kids who had been here for 6-7 years, and their Spanish is
minimum.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well,
my kids spoke Swahili.
Yeah.
I didn't speak Swahili, but
they understood. Yeah.
Because there, you have a driver. You're speaking.
Exactly.
It's the staff that helps them, and
you integrate.
They know exactly.
So the football really helped to integrate and for the language.
So both boys are football mad.
Yeah.
And
still,
and that's what they want to do.
Yeah, plus studying. That's what we want to do.
Yeah.
they
Well, you know,
they want to become football players. We want to.
No, you've got to give them plan B.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Because,
yeah. Absolutely.
So many golfers want to be number one,
Yeah.
in Tiger Woods, and
Yeah.
it's only about 1,000 in the
Yeah,
world that
it's
make
true.
it, not even that, and the rest have to do something that's not so
and
good.
and having a great education here, plus then uni, gives them a great base.
yeah.
yeah.
And where did your boys went to university?
So the oldest is in Germany,
Yeah.
and Maxime just graduated 2 weeks ago,
Where?
and now 2 out of 3 are gone.
Yeah.
And
And where's he going to university?
probably Germany as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's right now also visiting his older brother to check out unis and
And the baby, another
football.
2 years or 3
the
years?
baby, the 15-year-old baby Chiara. We don't talk about this. She still stays with me now.
But she doesn't play football.
No,
Oh, good.
she is. No, she used to, but now she is trying athletics.
Oh, okay.
Here in Pueblo Nuevo with Juan.
Oh,
This is also amazing.
There's rugby here as well, which
yeah,
is amazing.
which my kids don't do.
No.
Never allowed. When I was in
They're never allowed.
no,
By mama?
by mama.
Oh.
Yeah, in South Africa when they wanted them, because Yannick was very fast and but mama. Yeah.
We have-
Football is good.
Oh, dear me.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you've met friends.
Yeah.
We know where to go to restaurants and all that.
Can I say something?
Of course.
What I really, really liked coming here in Sotogrande is that I'm very often alone with the kids. And there are so many women in my situation. So here it's not a problem at all. When I was in Johannesburg, being alone with the kids, or in Stuttgart, being alone with the kids, it was always a little bit like, something isn't right. Do we invite her? Here it's not a question. So I have my social life, I have my circles, I am invited to parties, to dinners, and there are 3 other women whose husbands are traveling or working outside. So I think this is really, really special about Sotogrande, and very nice in my situation.
Yeah, no, and because here everyone's a foreigner.
Yeah.
You're not in a country where you are the exceptional foreigner.
Which I was,
You are, exactly.
Yeah.
No, I fully understand that. I fully understand that. So, you got 1 child graduated, 1 just graduated, 1 still going, and where do you think she might end up? If in the university in Germany as well, or
she wants to go to Paris or Italy.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Something different. Yeah.
Let's see. But I want to stay here, so the kids can go and then come back.
So this is going to be home forever?
Yeah.
This is your forever home, really?
Yeah. That's the
plan.
That's the plan, exactly. That's the wish and the plan.
So you came here because of the school, and now casa, para siempre.
Yes, para siempre.
Wow.
No, it's but what's not to love here? And you see that the community is like, they have to go, the kids have to go, but they come back.
Yeah. Well, I know that because my children want to come back. They call it home here as well.
You see?
And, it's when they come on holiday and they see the lifestyle, and they've been international, like travel a lot. It's the same story. They see it as a holiday as well. But,
of course.
But the lifestyle is so different to living in London, as they both do. And,
Isn't it so funny, this lifestyle? I mean, we have in Sotogrande 1 traffic light up there at the school. And
where? A traffic light?
We have a traffic light at the school when you're on the road to Castellar, at this roundabout. We have 1 traffic light. But
that's outside Sotogrande. I always say there are no traffic lights in Sotogrande.
It's outside. Okay, it's outside. But
oh my gosh.
But no one is using it. So the cars are stopping. We don't press the traffic light. It's red for us, green for the cars. But the cars stop. We walk over the zebra crossing, and the cars. This is. I love it. This is lifestyle Sotogrande.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's something totally different. Do you get excited when the polo season starts? Do you go to watch polo a lot? Or
Not a lot. It's not a big thing for
not
me.
a lot. Well, I mean,
but I like it. I like the atmosphere there. I like putting my hat on and walking, and in the afternoon or in the evening listening to some music, seeing the horses, which I have seen the whole day because that's where you find me at my horse with other horses. But no, I really like the atmosphere. It's family orientated. It's laid back. It's really nice environment, and I think it's really for Sotogrande.
Absolutely. I mean, it's. I mean, we've had polo people here, and we've got Sanitario Healthcare coming soon as well. And this is a big part of what we do here. I mean, golf, obviously, with the two big golf courses we have, and the third coming up in La Reserva as a good standard. Yeah. And then we've got tournaments. We have the Live coming here again, so that theoretically the top players in the world, they were maybe when they left the PGA, but they're coming here again, and we have that, and we've had top sailing as well. That didn't last too many years, but they're still sailing for everybody that wants to do it. But the top racing sailing did come here as well. So there's a lot to do in this part of the world, and it's a secret that's getting out, and people are learning about it, and people like it. I mean, have you seen a change since COVID?
Yes.
Because how many more cars do you see around? How many more different number plates do you see around?
Absolutely.
It's
a huge change, and why not? Since then, you can work all over the world, and when we decided to look for a place to live as a family, my number one was I wanted to stay in Europe. Number two goal was a World IB school, and then being at the sea, having this weather, being in a small community, that was just a plus. And I'm not leaving here anymore. I found my home.
I know. A lot of people that have been around the world working as multinational companies around like that end up here, and I'm the same. I'm originally from Latin America, so Spanish is my mother tongue.
Which helps.
In the UK. Yeah, well, of course it helps. But then I've lived in Africa, obviously Latin America, and I can be here and I can see Africa.
This is so amazing, Charlie. Exactly. Every day I drive to my horse. Well, not the last 2 days because you can't see it because of the weather. But every day I see Africa, and I love Africa. I mean, I've been for 13 years. My kids were born there, grew up there, went to school there. It is such an unique place, geographically, but also community-wise.
But we're here, we're in the southern part, and the weather is amazing. I mean,
and we are not on an island. For me, mentally, that makes a difference. You can sit in the car, you can sit and drive for 2 days, and you are in Middle Europe, or in 1 day if you want to not enjoy life.
No, it's true. And funnily, we have people that have been in Mallorca looking come here, not necessarily because Mallorca they don't like, but
no, it's a beautiful island.
Yeah, but it's an island.
It's an island.
But they want to be able to drive to their place rather than have to fly.
Absolutely.
And that's all part of what's happening in Eastern Europe right now. People are getting nervous about what might happen. And we have Estonians, Lithuanians, Poles coming this way because they're looking for potential safe haven. If that's geopolitical issues around the world affect the market here.
Big time. And, I can imagine.
And the school. We're going back to the school. I mean, when I arrived here, there were 800 kids.
Yeah.
There's 1,300, over 1,300 now. Now I know little babies are there as well that didn't exist before. I don't know how it works.
Yeah.
It's going bigger and bigger. And, I just hope it doesn't get too big because it can get very, very impersonal.
But I must say, just mentioning the school from a parent's perspective, not from the headmistress perspective, I must say the school has been incredible for the kids. Always, well, we know that there has been a change in leadership.
You mean Aspire?
Inspire and the headmaster.
Yeah.
The headmaster also changed.
Jack left,
exactly. And having 3 kids at school, 3 teenagers. There are sometimes some trouble the kids are in, and when it's normal. And with every individual I spoke to with the school, they were always fair. I had always the impression that they saw my kid, like as a kid, as an individual, as a troublemaker. So school is and was still an anchor for us to be here.
And you probably still have a connection with it after your baby leaves, because it's...
I think so, because of the community. I mean, Chiara, she is now 15 and she started now going out. And when Bahia Limon opened with a big party, it was the first time she was out. And my hairdresser, and I was like always with Maxime in Estepona. So she had the talk. Only spiked drinks, be careful, only with her friend going to the toilet, la 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 la, first time out, worried mother. And then I got photographs from my hairdresser sending me a picture of Chiara. When I then picked her up at 11 o'clock, the older brother's friends walked her out. Oh. And she was like, there were so many teachers dancing with me. So it is a community. It is it's wonderful. Yeah. And this is, I really think I will stay in contact with other members of communities who are teachers. Yes.
And everyone looks after each other.
Yes.
I mean, I've had 1, 2, 3, 4 kids from the school working here.
Work
experience. You know, I've got a German girl now, Marie Christine. I had a boy last year, Ethan, who this year is doing some work for me, not through the school, just because he's finished his and he's doing some distribution.
Amazing.
Yeah, and
so you are as a community member giving,
of course,
back to school or helping. No. That's amazing.
And I have no connection with the school in the sense that my kids have gone to international schools, and I think that's part of being a part of the company here, working here, and helping as much as you can. And I think it's almost a responsibility of everybody who can do it. Not everybody can, but if a child comes here for a week, for half a day, for a week, and they can go with us to see us when we're talking to somebody. They can see when we do our social media. They can see how boring sometimes it is, because a lot of the hard work is
real life,
real life, and write a blog about this or do that, and so they see how the business works, and it's a beginning. I mean, the child is 16 or so. So they do it.
Super.
So when Chiara is ready to do this,
next year,
send it to me.
Next year, okay.
we will dress her up.
Give her some real life talk.
Yeah. So just looking at practical tips for new families, what would you say would be what was a checklist of things to do? So we discussed many of them, but
so you come here, you obviously have decided on the school, you have done your research, what school system it is the English of your child good enough to go to the school? Have you done all this?
No.
I think this is important. Because the IB system, and Rachel explained it very well, and maybe someone goes back and has a look. It is a program that is different from other programs, and if your child's learning profile might not match, then don't come.
It'd be difficult.
Or plan to leave after certain, because the last 2 years are really, really intense. So do your research about the school, English definitely, about Sotogrande. I mean, you've seen, I'm sure, many families who came, and then some of them realized, it's not Marbella, and then they left again. Why putting your kids through this? Make your homework first. Then I do think very important is the language. Do language courses. Be able to speak the language. Be able to integrate for you and for your children. And then try to leave, after you have your tribe, but then also try to leave a little bit the bubble that we are in, and which is beautiful to have the bubble. It's a safe environment for the kids. but try to leave.
Do you find that that's looking at it the other way around? You know, they come to this wonderful place, Sotogrande, they go to this fantastic school,
Yeah.
and then suddenly they go to university in London or in Berlin
Yeah.
or wherever. Whoa, that's a big change,
Yeah.
because here
Yeah.
you're cocooned
Yes.
in a way. It's a very safe place to be. You know. Kids can get on these little motor scooters very early
exactly.
in their lives, and suddenly they go out to the big bad world.
Yeah.
You know, you haven't heard of stories of people sort of, having a cultural backlash, so to speak.
It's a very good question. I haven't heard.
Yeah.
Our family was, before we came to Sotogrande, we lived in Germany, so it was a kind of normal life. So we didn't come from South Africa with the bodyguards, with all this totally different life to Sotogrande and then to uni life. So no, I haven't heard, but could be a little shock. On the other side, every even little university town is a step up for our kids. So because Soto is so small, they are not bored in another small town.
Yeah, but it's interesting because the all-time media, who are the ones who do this, they're the two guys from the school.
I know, it's he's one of Yannick's best friends.
Felix or Dylan?
Felix, both.
Felix. Oh,
both.
okay.
Yeah, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
They went to great universities, and while they are getting their top-notch qualification and education, they built up this amazing company. And coming back to Soto.
Yeah,
I love it.
And that's because maybe the parents are here.
Yeah.
You know, but
they will stay here, and
the social life is also here.
Yeah.
And so, you know.
And I think this will change, don't you think? I mean, you've been here for so long. I think this changes now, that even the young kids who went through school here had to go to uni, come back at a younger age than maybe with 40 plus with their families.
No, I think that. I think also there's a big issue in the world about coming out of university, and then the jobs you get are not maybe, and the lifestyle you get is very different to the one you've been enjoying, and therefore you try and match where you've been, and you'd be able to try and keep that standard of living and all that, and without the bank of mommy and daddy, sometimes it's not possible to do that, and therefore, it's cheaper to live here. Maybe you don't earn the salaries you might earn in a London or in New York, but the lifestyle is such that you don't need that money.
No, and having had the education from an IB school, which programs you to think broadly, and maybe you become an entrepreneur easier than other kids. In a younger age.
Sure.
Yeah.
One of the things that I've always you said entrepreneur, but music is a thing that I've always been astonished at the international schools.
Amazing.
The amount of music that they do. I mean, I'm sure they're doing art and then doing all the sports and everything else. But for me, music was one or two kids were talented and they played piano, but there everybody seems to play an instrument or sing or be part of it, and it's all about that confidence of starting from day one, having to stand.
You
up
are
and talk.
so right. The confidence on standing on the stage and either singing or performing or talking. I mean, speaking, public speaking. That's very good done.
My kids went to Nairobi, and there the United Nations have a big office, and we're off to the United Nations to do what? To speak. I said, what?
Amazing.
We're going to talk.
How old were your kids when you were in Nairobi?
Well, Christina finished. Because although I left to Colombia, but she did last year there to stay with a friend. And Alex was I can't even remember the years, but she had 4 years to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because when we were in Nairobi, Yannick was baby till 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So he went to Madari Kindergarten.
Okay.
You know that fun fact? Madari Kindergarten's headmistress, Mrs. Ndesanjo, is one of Barack Obama's stepmoms. So she was once married to Barack Obama's father.
Wow.
Yeah. That was the kindergarten Yannick went to.
Gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
I know you have a lot of time for yourself here, and you
Yeah.
love to do all sorts of charity work as such.
Yes.
Or you get involved with
yes.
that.
Charity work. I do charity work at school, the Kindred project, which is amazing. And this is one point Rachel could have
Pushed a
touched
bit.
as well. This is a student-led.
Probably my fault for asking the question.
Exactly. It was such a lovely interview, but well, you didn't know. But it's a student-led NGO, which supports kids here in Spain, but also in Ecuador, in Tanzania, and in Morocco. And the kids, like Chiara, is from day one in the KP. So like little ones do little things, and then the oldest ones help with the uniform sales, where I also help with. And the KP offers students to go and work, like make expeditions in these countries. So, well, that's not me to explain now, but I am helping with the KP by selling uniforms. That is one charity work. Then many people help with the dogs, dog shelters around here in Aldana, Canya, La Linea, Hogar Botanica. So there are possibilities to help out. And I help with the shelters and with KP at school.
Another thing that strikes me about Sotogrande is the safety that you have here. You know, I know you lived in Africa, so have I, and I've been in Colombia.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons I'm here is because they came for me. The bad guys, you know, not me, my position, because I was an international guy, and you know, I was kidnappable. What about you? What do you think about safety here?
Absolutely the same situation. We lived in Kenya. We had a personal threat against our family, 24/7 armed bodyguards. South Africa, the same. We lived in a jail, and we're still not safe there because so often bad things happen. And for me, so important in choosing a place for my family to live was safety and security, and it is Sotogrande. I walk alone in the middle of the night, whether it was in Kings and Queens. Now we live up in the G zone. No problem at all. I feel safe. I feel for my kids to be safe. It's very, very important, and an incredible asset Sotogrande has to offer.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I totally agree. And you know, it's Latin America, Africa, you have these problems.
And I even think in Germany, I must say, even in Germany, I lived for 4 years then between Africa and here in Germany. I didn't feel as safe as here.
Okay, you go to Marbella.
Oh, in Marbella.
And sometimes you have issues, you know. And I know it's not normal people walking around. It's because there is nightlife that leads to other things, and therefore you go into a nightclub and you have gangs fighting each other, and I've heard of that. I mean, I don't know whether it's true or not, but you know,
I read about it the same. And I must say also, some people are smiling and the security here. No, the security, as I know, they are working. They are knowing the people coming in and out, and I have had some issues where I felt like I didn't feel. I heard some noise, and I called the security, and immediately they sent a car to reassure that everything is fine. And so big shout out to them as well.
Yeah, no, the EUC do a very, very good job, and you know, it's. I know because I so many times I open a house and the alarm goes off because my fault probably with the numbers. And in 3 minutes the guy's asking, "Who are you?"
Yeah.
You know, and they come. And
they come. And did you know that they all have these? When you have a heart attack, how do you call this?
Fibrillator.
Yeah, they have it in the car. Yeah. So when you have a problem, call them immediately, and they come and.
Wow.
Pick you up. That's what they told me.
Excellent news.
Yeah.
Cool. I know you brought something there for me to see. What is this? Mothers and daughters?
Mothers and daughters letters. That was. We also lived in Nairobi, like around the same time you did, I think.
Yeah.
And I was asked by a Kenyan lady, Susan Githuku, who is an editor, and she is the CEO of a publishing house, to write a letter to participate in a project, in a book project, writing a letter to my daughter. And then there are 2 books. One book writing letters with letters from mother to daughter, and one from daughter to mother. And there is a letter from me to my daughter, then 7-year-old daughter, in the book. And I was just thinking, maybe someone is interested in a beautiful coffee table book, and could go on the internet, www.footprintpress.com, and get these books.
There you are.
Yeah.
If you like that beautiful book.
And some interesting stories from mainly African ladies. Heartwarming, touching stories.
We'll make sure we put it in the details at the bottom of the podcast. Yes. So if anybody's interested in this book, from letters from mums to daughters and daughters to mums.
And next time I come, maybe I have written my own little
book. Are you writing? Are you writing memoirs?
I am a writer.
Yeah,
not memoirs yet, but some days I have many stories to tell.
I'm sure you do.
Oh, yes, yes.
Heike, thank you so much for being with me today, and I'm sure many families who are listening to this podcast will take all your tips on board and will have learned an awful lot about settling in to Sotogrande as a family. For everybody out there, thank you very much indeed for listening and for watching, and please do remember to subscribe. It does help us an awful lot in getting some traction on the podcast, so thank you very much indeed. See you next time.